Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to talk about a little bit about the toy quad basics, so that for beginners out there, if you're interested to know how a toy quad looks like and how it flies, how you use the transmitter, what it is made out of, well, I'm going to tell you the basics of a toy quadcopter. So you bought your first quadcopter, and then you look at the box. You're going to say, wow, it's very exciting. Wow, this thing has a fancy name, Furibee F36, and it has a 2.4 GHz 6-axis gyro drone and special blade guards for safety flights. And then you turn to the box and you have all these warnings, and on the side of the box you can see diversion, lights, 6-axis gyro, headless, return to home, high, low speed switch. Wow, this is all very technical and very exciting, and then you just got your new quad. But what do they all mean? But anyway, you're going to be so anxious, so happy, so you're going to open the box. Just like what I'm doing now. Trying to tear the box apart. Okay. Well, so you open up the box, you have a new spanking orange quadcopter, and it looks all so exciting. And then you have all these spare propellers. You have one set of this, and you look at this and you have this USB looking thing. But what is this? You must be asking yourself. This is actually a battery charger. It's like the charger for your phone, but this is for the quadcopter battery. So you need to plug this thing into your normal 5-volt phone charger adapter, and then you plug the battery in here, and then you can charge the battery. And then why do they give you this extra propellers? Because they know when flying a quad you're going to crash, and sometimes you need to replace the propeller. And what about this the screwdriver? That's interesting. Why do I need a screwdriver to fly my quad? So let's open, oops, then you can see the instruction manual. And if you look at this, there's some Chinese writing on one side. The Chinese writing on one side is because the quad is made in China, so they usually have English and Chinese instruction manual printed on the same piece of paper. So this is quadcopter instruction manual, and this tells you the casing. So I'll go through the instruction manual with you, and so that I'm going to use the real quad so that you can see what they actually mean. So I'll explain the quad later, but let's go through the instruction manual. I need to get this focus. Okay, this one says this is a casing. So this is a casing, the whole thing, the casing, the top. Then you have the propeller guard, which is here, all this, and then you have the propellers, and then this is the part where you put all the 4 motors, and they sit inside this motor guard, so that when you hit the ground the wire doesn't break off. So they show you this is what you get: USB charging cable, 4 blades, and then instruction for the controls. Before we get to the controls, let me start by telling you a bit of the quadcopter. So you look at this quadcopter, you say, wow, this is exciting. You have 4 propellers. But what does it all mean? You can see the battery here. And if you pull this out, the battery is 3.7 volt, 20C, 150 milliamps battery. So 3.7 volts basically means that this is a 1-cell battery. And you have this type of connector, which you connect to this battery connector on the quad. So, and on the top of this, you have this canopy. This is what normally they call canopy. And inside the canopy, if I take this off, you can see the flight control board. Let me just take this off. This flight control board is actually what makes the quadcopter fly. But before I talk about that, if you look at this, you have the propellers wire. They are soldered to the flight control board. Here, this is for the back one. This is here, and this one is for this one. And this is the antenna for the flight control board, and this is the flight control board itself. The flight control board basically controls how the propellers spin, because all the 4 propellers, there are 2 counterclockwise and 2 clockwise. They don't spin at the same rate, and they spin at a certain rate so that when you fly this, when you hover this, it will balance out each other, and that's what makes the quad moves. So everything is pre-programmed inside. So if you want to move, where's the front? Oh, here. Say you want to move to the left, it goes to the left, right, front, back. So this one all controls the propeller, so that's how it spins. And this is the antenna. So in the flight control board, it usually comes with a receiver, but with this small flight control board, the receiver is built into the flight control board. Receiver basically means that it receives the signal from your transmitter when you move your stick, so that gives instructions to how you want the quad to move, and then the flight control board will then interpret that stick input and spins the propeller accordingly. So this is all built-in receiver, flight control board. Everything is in there. Even the power supply comes from the battery, and then there's a power circuit inside there somewhere. And to give you a picture of what the receiver looks like, this is a type of receiver that you put on your bigger quad, and this is a 6-channel receiver. So basically, this quad also has around, I think, also 6-channel receiver. So they are very similar. So that's why I use this receiver to explain to you what's happening in the flight control board. So you have this auxiliary channel, you have the gear, you have the rudder, elevator, aileron, throttle. All these are connected to the board. But because this is built-in, everything is soldered inside, and this receiver will be somewhere in here. I don't know which one it is, but it is somewhere in there. And this is the antenna for the receiver, which is similar to this one. And what that means is that all these are connected. So you have 4 channels: throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder. That one controls the how your quad moves. So let me explain. Throttle is when how powerful you want to spin the motors. So it's going to go lift the lift the quadcopter up and lowers it down. Then you have the aileron. Aileron means you pitch forward and pitch backwards. And the hang on. No, hang on. I'm wrong there. So you have the aileron. So aileron is basically left or right roll. That's aileron. Then you have the elevator. Elevator is pitch forward and pitch backwards. Then the last one is the rudder. The rudder is when you spin it around. This is for making turns. So basically that's the 4 channels, and that corresponds with the transmitter. So now let me take out the transmitter and let's go to that basic. And yes, before I talk about the transmitter, the screwdriver is given to you so that you can unscrew the screw here and you can put the, I think, 4 battery inside. So let me just unscrew this and show you before I start talking about the transmitter. So this one takes 3 AAA batteries. So you just put it in. The screw is there for safety reasons, but normally people don't need to use the screw because it detracts and it inconveniences you when you want to change battery. So anyway, let's go back to the transmitter. So as you can see with the receiver, you have the throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder. So if this is the aileron, so this one, when you move this stick left or right, it transmits a signal to the antenna, and then the antenna then transmits the signal to the aileron. Then the aileron is connected, this channel is then connected to your flight control board, and then it tells it to go left or right. Similarly, for the elevator is going up and down. So that's basically pitching forward, backwards. Hang on. Forward, backwards. So again, if you push these sticks up or down, this one will then transmit a signal. It will go to this antenna. Antenna will then receive the signal and gives the signal to the elevator, and this one then is connected to the flight control board, and it makes it go forward, backwards when you move your stick up and down. So that's the right stick. On the left stick, you have the this is mode 2. You have the throttle. This is the throttle. As you can see, the throttle is not spring loaded because you need to control the rate accordingly and how much you push up or down. So you can't spring load this one because if you put it in the middle, then the quad will just, as soon as you bind it, the quad will just fly off. So this is the throttle, same thing. You go push up or down, transmit a signal to this antenna. This antenna gets the signal, transmit it to the throttle. Throttle is connected to your quad, and then when you go up, down, it goes. You lift this up, and then you let it down. That's throttle. And then the last channel is the rudder. Same thing. This is left, right rudder. So you move the stick left, right, transmit a signal to this antenna wire, goes here, and this one goes to the flight control board, and this one make it spin around like that. So that's the 4 channels. So you have similar receiver inside this quadcopter, and this transmitter also has a antenna in here somewhere, but it's hidden. So that's basically the 4 channels that will make the quad lift off, spin around, go down, go left, right, forward, backwards. So that's the 4 channels, and that's the functions. And then you have the auxiliary and gear channels. So let me talk about those two. And before I go to talk about auxiliary and gear channel, if you look at this instruction sheets, you have the speed key, the rate, left and right fine tuning here, and you have the forward and backward switch here, and the power button is here. And let me see. Okay, let me talk about this one first. So, according to the instructions, this is the power button, this is the trim button, forward, backward trim, right or left, and this is the speed key. Usually, the quadcopter comes in 2 speed. The toy quadcopter, it has a slow speed. It's for beginners to learn how to lift the quad off and then move it around. And then once you get used to it, you can fly a bit faster. So you go to 2nd speed, so you will pitch forward more and go backwards, more left, right, turn around. So that's 2 speed. And this speed usually sends a signal to the gear channel, and go up and down. So this one sends a signal to the gear, and then it changes the speed from slow to fast. Sometimes you can also use the auxiliary channel. It depends on the setup. So as for the trim buttons, these trim buttons is usually associated with the sticks. Like if this is forward and backwards, this is trimming it, the pitch trimming, and if this is left or right, this is left or right trimming. So this basically means that when your quad lifts off, sometimes it tends to move, it tends to drift to the right, so you need to trim it, and you need to make a slight adjustment to this, and then so that it stays stationary. Same thing, you drift forward or backwards, you try to move this so that it goes a bit stationary. It will never be totally stationary, it will still drift around a bit. So that's the function of these trim buttons. They are associated to the elevator channel and the aileron channel. So which means that the trim buttons make use of this elevator and aileron channel. So they will send signals to these two, this antenna, and then go through the aileron and elevator. And this one is either the auxiliary or the gear channel. And this doesn't seem to have a flip button, but never mind. The other thing that this one comes with is at the touch of the button, to return. Alright, so this one has these two sticks you can press. So I think this one is either you press it and the quad will basically fly back to you, and when you press it and then you can go to headless mode. So I'm not sure about that at the moment, but basically when you click that button, it actually sends signals to one of these channels. I'm not sure which one it is, but it can be any one of these channels. Then you need to know, you don't need to know how they are set up, but they will be sent to one of these channels. So then this one talks to you about the how you set up your battery, how you charge, how you fly, how you take off. And how you roll it around. How you take off the canopy. And then how you calibrate. Alright, sometimes the best thing to do is before you fly this, you need to put in a flat surface, and then you calibrate the gyro. So I think the for this one, is to the left, bottom left, and to the bottom right. I think this, for me, the calibration calibrates two things. One is the internal gyro of the flight control board, which controls the pitch, roll, and if you keep it like the pitch roll, that's the basic calibration. And the other calibration is to calibrate the gyro that stabilize this quad. So all you need to know is that if there's only one stabilization system here, which is normally without the 6-axis gyro, this one is in acro mode. Basically it means that if you put it to the right, it will stay in that position, it will move to the right. So with the 6-axis gyro, you have what you call that stabilized mode. So what happens is that it will always try to maintain a stable position. So when you go right, you have to keep your stick in that particular position to make it go right. If you release the stick, it will spring back. So the default position is always the stabilized level position. So you go left, you need to push your stick to the left a bit, hold it there, and it will go left. If you release it, it goes back. So let me show you with this controller. So if you want to go left, certain position, go like that, go. When you release it, it springs back. Go right, release it, springs back. Go forward, release it, spring back. Go backward, release it, spring back. So that's 6-axis stabilization. And before I move further on, so all you need to know is you need to put it on level surface, calibrate the gyro once, twice, and that's it. and everything will be working perfectly for you. And the next thing that you need to know is, with this transmitter, as you can see, it's very small. When you move the sticks, you tend to try to move it quite a lot, maybe to the end very quickly, and also on the left hand side, you tend to move it very quick to the end points very quickly. So you cannot do that, because if you go up, this one will fly up really high. So if you're first starting to fly this, make sure that you make very slight adjustment only, so you have a better control of your quad. And remember always to release this so that it will spring back, and then keep this steady, maybe in the midpoint. So don't overdo it, because you're going to crash the quad. If you just move it slightly, a little bit, then it won't crash. So for example, for a stabilized mode, you just move the throttle up. If you don't move any one of these, and if it's trimmed up well, if it's stable, it will just stay like that. It won't move. It will drift a bit here and there. So only when you start to move the stick, it will start moving. So just remember that. And the next thing that I need to tell you is this. With a quadcopter, as you know, that this uses radio frequency. For radio frequency to work, and there's a range for this, and because this is a toy quad, the range is very limited. For something like this, it's maybe 30 meters, so maybe it's about your backyard, or maybe around 2 big room size. So that's the distance standing from one side of the 2 rooms to the other side. Remember that this is for the horizontal distance. For vertical distance, is also more or less the 2 room size, the 30 meters. So you don't go and fly this higher or further than 30 meters, because you're going to lose signal. This may fly away, so you're not going to get it back. And I've seen that happen to many new beginners. So make sure that you know that this doesn't fly too far, and you keep it within your eyesight range, or maybe keep it within the 1 room size distance. And also when you fly a bit higher, just keep it about the height of a room, so that you keep it within the range. And usually with this small quad, it's better that you fly indoors, because there's no wind. If you fly outdoors, you need to take into consideration windy conditions, and if you fly too high, the wind will catch it and then you will just blow it away. So just remember that. I think that's the basic that I want to tell you about quads. And to summarize it all, remember that this type of quad is a 6-axis stabilized mode, which means that it will stabilize for you, because if you move right, if you let go of the sticks, it will spring back, and then the quad will spring back to that horizontal position. Left, release, spring back. Front, release, spring back. Back, release, spring back. So another warning is that, remember, don't push it too far. You push it too far, you go like that, you are going to crash. You only need to push a bit slightly forward, then you will tilt a bit forward, then you will move forward. So you don't need to fly at a very steep angle. The second race is for that you fly with a better steeper angle. But anyway, I think this is quite a long video now. That's my purpose of trying to explain everything to you, and especially if you are a new beginner, so that you understand what you're getting yourself into, and hope that you have fun flying this. And I believe there is the flipping buttons for this, but I can't see in the instruction manual. But with all toy quads, there's one button that you can push, and then when you move the slits, you will just do a 360-degree flip, either front, back, left, or right. So I think basically that covers everything in relation to a toy quad, especially a small one like this. So hope you guys like my video and subscribe to my channel for more videos. So until next time, cheers.